The only Tristan I've ever met was a hardcore Christian.
Oh, Tristan the Christian.
Yeah, Tristan the Christian, who was very, very into celibacy and like, it's okay if you mess up by like not getting an A in your GCSEs because you can make up for that with God later.
Wow.
Wow.
So that was an interesting energy that he brought to my high school experience. Either of you two watched Borat 2?
No, not yet.
No.
No, same. I don't want to. I don't think actually.
I'm intrigued.
I don't think I can process. I don't think I can process it. Process it at the moment.
Why does the world need a Borat too?
It doesn't really.
I've heard. Do you know the reason I won't be watching it? I won't be patronising it.
Why?
I've been told he does not say my wife in the whole film. And that's the only thing that came from Borat.
You know what I think is one thing we need to change about society?
My wife?
Is the fact that films, right? So you have a film, so you have Borat, the film Borat.
Yeah.
And then they decide to make Borat 2. But the first one wasn't called Borat 1. It's like how the first floor isn't called floor 1, it's called ground floor. And then you have first floor, second floor. So I think it should go Borat, Borat 1, Borat 2.
That's insane.
I think that's how we should do things.
That is so incorrect. I'm sorry.
It's
But also,
totally
it's not called
it's totally on the money.
Borat 2. It's called like Borat subsequent movie film.
Okay, that was a bad example. Wait, is it actually?
Yeah.
That's a bad example, but I'm trying to think. Okay, Shrek. You have Shrek. And
Okay,
then you have
I will
Shrek
admit, 2. They went off the rails because they did Shrek 2, which sets a good precedent. Then they did Shrek the Third, and then so they threw it all out the window.
Yeah, that's an even more fucked up situation.
Didn't they also do Shrek Forever After? They did.
Yeah, but I jumped ship after Shrek Third because I was too insulted by it.
So it was Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, Shrek Forever After, Shrek 5.
Okay, Shrek Forever After, which is the 4th Shrek film, they visit it. So it's an American franchise set in America, and it's also a fantasy set in the medieval times, and they somehow go and visit my hometown. What the fuck is that about?
What?
My actual hometown.
They go
and visit it in Shrek 4. Okay, no, not Norwich, not my hometown, but another hometown, a place I lived called Worcester.
Oh, right.
Not actually my hometown, but
Sorry,
a place I lived. A tiny
they go to
in
Worcester
the UK.
in Shrek.
They go to Worcester. So I'm just like, surely they were running out of fucking ideas and places. If in a medieval fantasy film with ogres, they go to Worcester.
The thing that's blown my mind is I didn't know that Shrek was set in a place with names that are real. So now I have to find out, where did Lord Farquaad live?
Go on, donkey. We're going to Kent. It's fucking ridiculous.
Home.
I wouldn't put it past them to go to visit, like Hull in the 6th one. Like,
all right, Shrek, how's it going?
Donkey's gone to Slough.
Yeah, they're going to take a fucking trip to Sprouston on the weekend.
Lord Farquaad was voiced by John Lithgow.
Fuck off!
No, really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Good casting.
Oh, there's also Shrek 4D.
Was that... wait, was it Shrek 4 then Shrek 4D, or was Shrek 4 Shrek 4D?
In this list, Shrek 4D comes before Shrek the Third and after Shrek 2.
That is unbelievably infuriating. Oh, so wait, it was in a 4D cinema?
Yeah, it was in a 4D
cinema. Was it just Shrek
cinema.
2 in a 4D cinema?
I can't think of a worse film to see than Shrek in 4D.
Yeah, they constantly just spray the smell of swamp.
Shit. Yeah, he literally, like, the opening sequence is him fucking releasing every gas from every orifice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like the whole. It's like constant toilet humor. Why would you want that experience of the cinema? Why would you want any more like sensory overload than visual
mate.
when watching an ogre take a bath in his own shit?
Jesus. Like, how was Shrek 4D, mate? Oh, it was muggy.
Felt a bit dirty.
That really was a truly feisty film experience.
That's why they just held every screening in a butterfly house, so it did half the fucking work for you.
Oh, I actually like those places, but I do not enjoy being sticky from the bugs.
No. So that was 4 minutes of Shrek talk. So welcome to Forever in Bloom, a cinematic exploration, investigation, and celebration of Jeff Goldblum. We are in our final film of the 1980s.
Oh yeah.
Thank God.
Called
Thank
Twisted
God.
Obsession, or The Mad Monkey, or El Sueño del Mono Loco. 3 titles for this movie.
Nice.
And what better movie for us to see out possibly the most difficult decade for us so far with a film that is extremely difficult to watch.
And I'm Seb. So how do you two feel today about Twisted Obsession?
I'm Liam and this hurt.
I'm Beth, and it was genuinely so excruciating that I just turned it off. I turned it off about 10 minutes before the end.
Well,
I just turned it off.
I have some good news for you. Didn't miss anything.
Okay. Didn't think I
Maybe.
would.
I'm really glad that I'm not the only one that felt this way while watching it. I was worried that I was going to come and just be a real negative Nancy about it, but
But I do really, really need you two to tell me what the fuck happened in this movie.
I can tell you the rough premise because I've read it on Wikipedia, but I honestly don't see how that story plays out on screen. There just is no story. It's just a series of conversations between bodies on screen. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, it was nothing. There's a note I wrote down which I hope will sound as confusing to the people listening to this as it was for me to write it, which was, how has this film gone from 2 creepy dudes making a porno to Jeff searching for a glass vat of unclaimed bodies and I didn't notice?
Yeah.
yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
That's basically it. And like I said bodies before because I really don't want to justify them by saying they're characters because I feel like they're a very loose stab at what whoever wrote this film thinks characters are. Like the cliche English director who smokes fags in every scene, so you know he's a brooding director.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nubile Dexter Fletcher, isn't it?
It is. And Dexter Fletcher's gone on to do some great stuff, but let's be honest, this was not one of his
They
best.
all have. I mean, it's got
Yeah.
Miranda Richardson in.
Yeah.
Just a very confusing and it's a difficult to place film. I think if I watched it out of the context of this podcast, I honestly couldn't tell you like where it came from, who made it, why it was made, how much it cost. I can't place it. Like it's so confusing. And I think the the crossing borders as well that have contributed to it. So like it's a Spanish filmmaker, got a shit ton of British actors set in France, but the leading man is American. That makes it even more confusing.
Do you want to also point out, I don't know about you two, but the copy I watched did not have subtitles for the bits in French.
Nope.
Nada.
So maybe
That may
all the
be-
stuff we're missing was in there.
Yeah, but there was only 2 scenes, mate, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
And one was with his mother-in-law, and you could kind of get that by context.
Yeah, that's true.
Fucking garbage movie. But the voiceover, the Jeff voiceover, has like further instilled that need in me from what we spoke about last episode of like the noir style
Yeah.
Jeff movie of him.
It had noir elements for sure.
Yeah, and there's a note that I wrote down that kind of links with that, and it said that the tone of this
Liam, were you about to say the tone of this fajita? Or, more
Sounded like
excitingly,
vagina.
I was also thinking Vegeta, one of my favourite Dragon Ball Z characters.
No, I was not about to reference Dragon Ball Z.
Vegeta sounds like it sounds like sounds like a no, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, but the tone of this film suggests that something interesting is happening, but like nothing interesting is actually happening.
I think that's very accurate.
That's so true, man. That is so true.
They're like, look at all of this like suspicious stuff and the creepy music and the voiceover, and it's like, ooh, there's a mystery. But
Lots
And
of
it looks like
slow
an art
pans
house
into
film.
scenes where nothing happens. Oh,
It looks like an arty, like a film that came out by a director who, like, their first film out of film school, and they made like their first feature, and super arty, super influenced by French cinema and like neo-noir, but it's really just not interesting at all and wasn't enjoyable.
it's just about slut-shaming paedophiles making a movie.
Basically, yeah. And
That's
about
one way to sum it up.
manipulation and abuse, but like it kind of skates over it. It just kind of doesn't really address it, doesn't talk about it or explore it. It just shows it, and I don't think that's a very responsible way of telling a
And
story.
On top of that, Liz Tar, can't remember her last name, Liz Walker,
oh yeah.
who played Jenny Green, the child basically in this movie, that everyone does and wants to have sex with, was actually about 16, 17 when they made this
Oh,
movie.
fuck, really?
Yeah.
That scene I found so upsetting. So she's an actress in the film that he's writing, right?
Yeah.
And they have this very strange relationship, Jeff Goldblum and her. She's like a child. She looks very, very adolescent, very young. And every scene is shot from that kind of like fellatio angle, looking down at her with her mouth open and her eyes looking up really wide, and she's hypersexualized. It makes you very uncomfortable as the viewer. And then there's a scene where she talks to Jeff Goldblum. He's been kind of this, we know him as a dad because we have this relationship. We're introduced to him as a father looking after his son. So like your first natural thing when you're introduced to this couple is that he's going to be like a father figure to her, and then it completely is so fucked up because she tells him about her incestuous relationship with her own brother, and you think he's going to come to her aid and give her some kind of support, and instead he just aggressively pins her down and starts going down on her, and I just thought that was the most unnecessary and most
Fucked up,
horrific
man.
scene I've ever seen.
It
What
was
the
also
point in that
extremely quiet. This film has lots of very uncomfortable silence, which sometimes I think is good.
Mate, the sound is just awful.
The sound's
in this.
very bad in this film. There was lots of Foley that just didn't match to what was happening at all.
And loads of like things where they just like cut really loud scenes, like super short, to go to a really quiet scene. It was awful. Also,
realised
Jeff. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say we should probably vaguely sum up what the film is.
Yeah, Jeff's an American writer in Paris that's hired to work on this like edgy, with the edgy young director, which is Dexter Fletcher. And he basically falls in love with his child sister, and something else happens, because that's
He
about as far
fucks
as I
about
get.
3 different women in this film. He
Yeah.
fucks
Oh,
his
he also
wife,
drops a
the
disabled
child
woman, so-
actress, and the disabled woman. Yeah. Miranda Richardson, who plays attractive woman in a wheelchair. Don't really know what else she does in this
I
film.
think
What's
she's
her
his
point?
agent.
She's his agent.
Right.
I mean, she doesn't seem like a great one. I'll give her that. But
Is it professional to fuck your agent?
No,
I haven't done so with mine.
or drop them. I would assume,
Yeah, probably not that. Probably not that. But maybe
and
it was
essentially
the
ask why she wears shoes.
Yeah, that there was a lot of mishandling of sensitive topics in this film, shall we say?
Yup.
That's a really good way to put it.
Bit promo.
I think that what the director was probably trying to do is go for like the sort of like shock factor is probably the wrong word, but like controversy and like, oh, we're dealing with sensitive things, but we're not gonna like tiptoe around them. We're just gonna talk about
Well, they
them.
specifically say he's an edgy young director in the as a character, so maybe it's like a thing of his voice coming through or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's yeah, this was a tough one.
Also, Jeff looks particularly wide in this movie.
Yeah, why did this movie?
Sorry?
Why did this movie?
I didn't say why did this movie.
I thought that's what you said, and I wanted to agree with you. What did you say?
Well, yes, why did this movie? But I said that Jeff looks particularly wide in this movie. He looks wider than I've seen him in
Wide in what
previous-
sense? Like his face is wide.
Face, shoulders, chest, barrel. He just looks a bit wider in this. I don't know if it's the way it was shot. He just looks a bit more like a sunfish.
Is it also because he was constantly juxtaposed against like a 16-year-old?
Yeah, maybe it's just those weird angles and shit for like power dynamic or whatever.
Also, like it definitely looked like they were shooting on a relatively wide-angle lens, so they probably were, you know, things were slightly distorted. Maybe. I thought Jeff's fashion in this film was pretty good. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I like the fashion.
And
That was the
slick
only
hair,
good.
looks a bit slick Rick.
Good thing.
Yeah. My favourite line of the film was one of the first lines in the film, which is actually from Jeff's son, and he just says, "He's not my friend anymore because he's an idiot." We don't know the
Yeah.
context, but
The little kid, the boy, he's pretty good in this film. I kind of wish it was more just about that kid. I kind of wish they'd taken a more Home Alone approach. You know, where he's shaving, the whole.
yeah, when he's
I wish it was more that.
shaving and the mother-in-law screams like he's died.
Yeah.
And they have that really They have that really bad red, which is supposed to be so. Walks in. Jeff Goldblum walks in. His like 8-year-old son has covered his face in shaving gel and like drastically cut himself, but like uncommonly like no other child in the universe has cut himself, is bleeding bright red and isn't crying at all. Like
And
hasn't made a
is
single
not
noise.
reacting at all in any
Not
way.
reacting. Just looking straight into the mirror at his own reflection, like some deeply like disturbed like epiphany that he's having right there and then while his dad like tries to get the red off, and it doesn't bleed anymore, like it doesn't spurt out, it just stays like his
It's
blood
also
is just...
because Jeff literally just wipes off the cream to the
Yeah.
skin and there's like no makeup underneath it, so
yeah,
he just fucks
really
that up.
bad.
But that kid reminded me of, you know, the child that's come to be known as the internet's son, the one that like got bit by his lizard pet and then didn't snitch on it to his dad.
I haven't come across this. I thought you were going to talk about the really large baby.
No, there was a kid that like, I'm not going to dive into this right now. I don't have the cognitive ability to.
Yeah, talk
Really
about
drive
a
that
boy
home.
and his lizard.
I have no idea what you're talking about. to
Yeah,
be
no,
honest.
neither do I, man.
Cool, man.
I would have rathered this film be just about Jeff's relationship with his son.
I'd just rather this film didn't.
Yeah. I have
Just didn't.
Yeah, just didn't do that.
Just didn't. I'd just rather it didn't.
I just wish it didn't do what it did.
so
No, I like the father-son narrative. I did like that.
Yeah.
It started with that. Like the first 20 minutes was that, and I was excited it was going to be like this really nice story about him looking after his son or whatever. But because it's interesting, like you don't usually see stories where the mum leaves. It's always the dad leaves. It's never the mum leaves.
That's true.
But
Well,
yeah,
that-
that ended.
Some of the dialogue in this film to me, though, the only way I can think they must have written this film is, you know, that game you would play where like you'd fold up a piece of paper and someone would draw the feet and then you'd fold it up and they have to carry on the legs and then they fold it up and someone else does the torso and then someone else does the head and you open it up and see what's left. Because some of this shit just does not make any fucking sense to like the line that comes before. There's like a thing where Jeff gets propositioned by some French woman, and she basically just says, "I want to fuck you," and he turns into this like stately gentleman and is just like, "And to what do I owe this honor?" Like, it makes no sense. And then later on with the child, she's on this bike somehow, like a motorbike. is out.
Well,
in
that
front with-
they're in France. That's pretty fine, actually.
Oh, right, fair. Well, yeah, she's on this motorbike and then just says the words, "Do you want to suck me? Catch me if you can," and then bikes off.
Yeah, she has. So I did a little thing here. So obviously she's like the main driver of the plot. Essentially,
Yeah,
she's the reason that
guess.
everyone is lusting over children. And I timed how long she's on screen for the same way that I do with Jeff. So Jeff is on screen for 49 minutes of an hour and 48.
Yeah.
And was her name Liza Walker? Is that right?
Yep.
She's in it for 5, roughly.
5.
Just 5 minutes. She's barely on screen for the whole
Wow.
film. The longest individual shot that includes her is the really slow pan of Jeff's hands going up her jumper.
Yeah. Which is,
Oh yeah, she's a complete object in this film.
Yeah.
She has
Gross.
no personality other than gentle, big-eyed, like fellatio camera angled, wide mouth, softly spoken "suck me." That's literally what she is.
Oh, can I dunk on us for maybe either last week's episode? Yeah, last week's episode.
Yeah, dude. Hold us
We
accountable.
the three of us, very confidently said that fellatio is, regardless of your genitals, cunnilingus is what we were looking
Ah.
What's fellatio?
for.
What?
This is a
Wait, what?
conversation you should have with someone very close to
Wait,
you.
no.
Beth.
You said cunnilingus is
Is irrespective of both genders, but fellatio isn't, I guess.
No,
Just for
no.
men?
Fellatio is for
sorry,
dudes.
just for penises. Sorry, just
Yeah.
for penises. Okay.
Yes.
Some of the worst acting is probably when the director is on the phone, and I love watching phone acting because it's
Yeah.
so easy to spot when there's no one on the other line, on the
Yeah.
end of the line. Because I'm sure the film crew obviously think, oh, it will be absolutely fine. They're an actor. I'm sure if they can cry and have sex on screen, I'm sure they can fucking pretend to have a phone conversation. But most of the time, people can't, and they never leave enough time. They never leave enough time for the other person because maybe the other half of the script wasn't written. I don't know. But he literally has a conversation with this person and that leaves absolutely zero gaps between what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't even know who's on the other end of the line.
But you could also fix that in the edit, and I think that's just sloppy.
But it's when it's in full like noir mode and it's a single shot that it's following his face around. He's smoking a fag, he's holding a phone in the other hand, and he's like smoking it really aggressively, and it's dark, and you can just see the light hitting the side of his face, and he's like moving around a lot. The camera's like following his face, and he's just having this fucking hilarious conversation with so obviously himself. Why didn't they notice at the time that it was like comical? It was comical.
It's just that Yeah, sorry, this film is really taking it out of me
Stumped
today,
you.
man. I will like to say, Seb, I've decided I'm going to do a thing
Oh yeah.
to help you on building a better case study on proving or disproving your interdimensional Jeff thesis.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty well proven, but far away.
Debatable. We're only 18 episodes in.
Your point?
I'm not saying it's not. I would just like to give you one more Jeff fact each week as a little gift to be able to see if it helps or not, and you can take it on your merry way across your journeys.
I was trying to do a portmanteau for a second of Jeff and amuse bouche. There's nothing there.
Jesus, that's a fucking reach.
Yeah. Well, because it's like a little bit at the beginning, you know. It's not there.
Man,
It's not there at all.
But yeah, I don't want this to be like a big segment. If you don't give a shit about the fact, we breeze on. If you have questions, then we dive in.
Okay.
So your one Jeff fact for the week is that Jeff wears leather trousers when he works out. So
That
what do we
feels.
give it for True Bloom?
Jeff feels sorry, that's completely thrown me.
Is that to like increase his body temperature so he burns more calories?
No, I I do as I do every morning, which is immediately wake up in a cold sweat and Google Jeff Goldblum news just in case. I came across a Vogue interview that he did talking about fashion, and he said he has these particular leather trousers that I believe are made by like Saint Laurent or something, that he says are so comfortable and stretchy that he works out in them.
Kind of like workout leggings. They're not quite leather, but they're kind of like that like material that clings and stretches,
But can you imagine having a clingy material when working out? That sounds fucking horrendous. So,
That does sound really bad.
but that to me just screams as another thing of someone that has secrets.
yeah,
trying to
why?
hide from us.
an extra limb. Not talking about his penis, but like a tentacle or some shit.
Thanks for the clarification. That was my first assumption.
A big old tentacle swinging out of his coccyx while he's trying to do press ups would be rather distracting, don't you think?
If he was using it, yes.
Yeah, it's to help him
Using
balance.
using his alien limb to do push-ups in a public gym. He doesn't go to a public gym. He probably has a personal gym. Why would
He
he even
probably
need
definitely has a... Yeah, I mean, he's not going to go to a public gym where people are going to see him wearing leather fucking trousers.
Just like Jeff Goldblum walking into the local like Gymfinity. Just
In his, like, sheepskin fucking vest from Silverado with just stretchy leather trousers on.
But imagine just going to the gym and just seeing a guy in the corner of the room working out in a pair of leather pants who looks like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, then
and
realising
thinking-
that guy is Jeff Goldblum.
and going, oh, I swear that guy, he really looks like, nah. And then it is. And you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
I've just been like, it can't be. Surely no one's insane enough to wear leather trousers to the gym and also has a successful career.
Yeah, it doesn't just buy his own gym. If he spent less money on leather trousers, he could afford his own gym.
He probably has his own gym.
I mean, I know he has a separate house in his garden for his piano.
That's powerful.
Because
I rate that.
he would get up. He obviously we know that Jeff is a jazzman,
Bona fide Jasmine.
but he would get up at like 5 a.m. and practice for an hour. And his wife told him that if he continued to do that, he would not have a wife anymore. So he built
Which
a
wife
piano.
was that?
Good question. That's a roast. You got
I
him.
hope it was Gina
Probably
Davis.
current Emily Goldblum, as she is still there and there is a piano house.
Yeah, probably. But yeah. So if he'll have a house just for his piano, maybe he'll have a house just for his. He'll have a special gym zone. And do you think he walks in there and there's like, just those leather trousers are waiting there for him?
Yeah, it's going to be like a Wallace and Gromit sort of situation. There's no door, there's just a square hatch in the roof. And where the door would be is a ladder, and he just climbs up to the roof, opens the hatch, and drops down perfectly into his leather trousers onto a treadmill and starts his workout.
I
always thought that would be very painful, being dropped into a pair of trousers.
Oh, 100%. It would split you in twain.
And if you don't perfectly hit those holes,
Yeah, you would either split your kipper or smash your balls.
yeah,
Depending on your gender.
I don't want to do any of that. I mean, to be honest, I was thinking of his getting ready more as in like the Iron Man suit up sequence. Like, like it depressurizes. There's like steam everywhere.
What, his leather pants depressurize?
Yeah, he keeps them crisp in like a special storage.
Beth has
Anyway,
had a grimace on her face for the last 45 seconds to a minute and a half, at least.
I'm just trying to keep up with you guys.
Sorry, mate.
I gave him a 4 for True Bloom because I thought there were
4?
some. Yeah, I thought there were some Jeffy bits in there.
Fair enough.
I don't even know what Jeff. I don't even know what makes him true to the Bloom anymore.
Like he
Honestly, don't
wiggled
know.
his ears a bunch.
Beth, you know what? I'm going to send you a bunch of videos for you to watch. I'm going to give you some homework for this week.
I'm 25. I don't need homework.
Just to refresh the Jeff.
Okay. Actually,
if
I think that's a good idea because I think I need it because my Jeff gauge, like my censoring of what is Jeff and what isn't, is so skewed by.
It's been a
the
rough
amount of roles
decade,
I've
man.
seen him. Yeah.
Maybe that's a rule. Every 10 years of movies, every decade, we do a re-Jeff and we rewatch a bunch of videos just to make sure we're on the right track because we don't want.
That's a very good. You should be Prime Minister, Liam.
Thanks, man.
That's the kind of leadership I can get behind.
What, every 10 years, legally mandated Jeff movies? No one can forget who he is.
That's very sensible.
I give it a 1 because sex pest paedophile.
I mean, he does wiggle his ears a bit, though.
He does wiggle his ears. I would have given it a 0, but there was one dressing gown that I really respected. It was powerful and bold, and I'm a man that loves a gown. So
Yeah, you are a gownman. So, Beth, what did you give it for True Blue?
2.
Yeah, okay, that seems reasonable.
I'll allow it. Craft, I gave it 3. It was a 4. Then there was a moment where Jeff went to like backhand the producer, and the sound was literally just someone just clapping in a room. It was fucking awful.
It was a very bad clap when he got slapped.
And the edit
there.
shit and
Oh yeah, the film's not made that well.
yeah.
Beth, how do you feel about it?
I did actually. It seems quite high. I did give it a 4, just because I did actually like some of the cinematography.
Oh, some of the shots themselves were quite nice.
I liked a lot of the framing. I liked a lot of the camera movements.
Some of the lighting
and
was nice.
the pans that come out of nowhere, and the neo noir elements, and I liked some of the costume as well. Like I'm just here for trench coats. I'm sorry.
To be fair, like I've got a thing saying that, especially towards the first half of the movie before it gets like a lot darker in color. The like outside 80s Paris aesthetic was really nice. Like how they'd set up the streets and how all the vehicles were, and it reminded me of The Eddy, which I loved on Netflix.
Oh, that's a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, about a jazz club in Paris.
I gave it a 1 for enjoyability.
Yeah, me too, man.
I gave it a 2.
Wow.
That's actually really high, isn't it? Considering I turned it off. I don't know why. I think I was in a good mood, but I always still hated it so much that I turned it off.
I'm surprised this. I mean, this obviously. Don't get me wrong. This is an absolute fucking garbage fire of a movie, but I'm surprised that this is the one that made you turn off. Especially with how much you hated. Was it the tall guy, or there was another one that just put you in the hole?
Which one?
There's been a couple.
She shall not be named. She shall not be named. The Buckaroo Banzai tree.
No. There was one much worse than that. Like me and Seb were just like, it's awful, but it's not that bad. And you were like, no, this is the worst film in existence.
Which one was that?
It was a very early one.
No. This was like 3 episodes ago, man. I'm looking.
Was it Death Wish 7?
It was Vibes.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was Vibes? What's Vibes?
You know,
Vibes was the Cyndi Lauper one.
Oh my god, that was awful. Vibes. That was the worst film.
There we go.
That was worse than this. I hope I gave that as worse. I hope I'm consistent with my scoring. Sometimes I do feel like I'm just making it up. I know that's what anyone ever does for anything, but you know when you do it, it feels like you're just making it up.
Yeah,
but that's all it is anyway.
Beth, you did rate Vibes worse than this.
Okay, good.
You gave it a 2, a 0.5, and a 0.
You were so salty about that movie, man.
But you know what? It's still higher on the board than this is.
Hilarious.
No way.
I'd watch Vibes over and over again instead of this fucking sex pest paedophile movie.
But this is our third lowest film. Sorry, our 4th lowest film.
Yeah,
there's a tie.
It deserves to be down there in the fucking dirt.
The only
Nashville
things it's
and the rest
beaten
of them.
by is St. Ives from back in day.
Good.
Special Delivery.
Fair enough.
Remember My Name.
Good. Deserves to be down there.
And no, sorry, yeah, that's right. Those are the 3 that it's ahead of. It's ahead of.
I mean,
So
I'd actually say all of those are better, but
I'd rather watch all of those again.
yeah, but we're here, aren't we?
We are indeed. So this is 21 of 24.
What was your golden bloom?
When his son slaps his glasses off his face towards the beginning of the film.
Mine's similar.
Was it when he got sprayed with milk?
It was, but it was more Jeff's response to being sprayed with milk, which was to smash a baguette over his son's head.
Yeah.
I don't like how you say baguette. That's the most British enunciation of baguette.
Baguette. What the fuck
Baguette.
else? How else am I supposed to say it? Baguette.
Baguette. You say baguette. You say it really... Baguette.
Baguette.
It's baguette. You
I
say it like
honestly cannot hear a
baguette.
fucking difference between what we're saying.
Okay,
We're
this is
just doing
you.
a lower version.
This is you. Okay, this is you. Baguette. And this is baguette.
Beth, you're
There's
just
no
going
fucking
higher
difference
at the
apart from
end.
pitch, mate.
Baguette.
Is that better?
Well, this is thrilling, but you just need to work on your enunciation. That's all I'm saying.
One of these days, mate.
I do want to say that, Liam, I've never before considered the possibility that it could be pronounced baguette.
Baguette. That's Italian. Sounds very Italian.
Well, Beth, it's a French bread.
Baguette.
So.
Baguette. La baguette. Sorry.
Beth, what was your golden bloom?
I don't have one. Sorry. That's why I was trying to change the conversation from the whole baguette enunciation malarkey, because I don't have one.
No, I'm
Sorry.
making you pull one deep out of your butt. Find
I
something.
just didn't pay that close attention. In the car, in the opening scene, he's having a conversation with his little son, his adorable little kid, and the kid, I'm pretty sure, just coughs, like not on script. He just coughs, and Jeff goes, "You got a little cough, son?" And it's really cute.
That is cute.
He must have ad-libbed. He must have, because why would that be there? You know?
Yeah.
I think that kid just coughed, and I think he just said it.
Interesting
dad
that
character.
all three of our golden blooms are all revolving around the relationship with his child.
That's
that was
what the
the only
film
good
should
bit
have
of
been
the
about.
film.
Yeah, the only thing you can cling on to in this movie that has
Yeah.
3 titles and no plot.
What are we watching next time?
Good question. Next time we are watching either we can try and find Beyond Therapy again, or we can watch a film that I've actually been looking forward to, which is Mr. Frost, which is Jeff playing a serial killer that gets sent to a mental institution, but his insidious presence causes the doctors and orderlies to receive strange visions.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's
Is
French.
this
Beth.
1990?
1990, baby! We are out of the 80s.
Thank God.
15 hour and 44 minutes.
It does have a terrible Rotten Tomatoes rating, but we'll see.
Yeah, bun Rotten Tomatoes, mate. They know nothing of the crunch.
Yeah, they're amateurs. What do they even know?
And a nice little bit of foreshadowing. There is a tagline, so don't go looking
Great.
for it.
I won't. I never will. I don't have anything else to say about this.
What about your fucking Bloomiverse, you gooseneck?
Oh,
I can tell you, I can sense you're getting kind of bored of having to do this Bloomiverse bit.
well, it's
the
not
last
that.
few, if
It's-
you don't mind me saying, have come across as slightly lackluster.
well,
And this
well,
was your idea.
I know. Well, it's not that. There's so many of these. It's hard to find it. He's a writer in this one again.
Also, Liam,
Yeah.
editor's point, we've lost the
Jingle.
the Bloomiverse jingle.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. There was one time I listened to it and I kind of creeped myself out, and I didn't know whether that was like going to translate to other people. But if we want it, I'll chuck it back in.
You creep yourself out.
Yeah, it was a bit ASMR, and I hate that at the best of times, let alone my own voice. So.
ASMR, you didn't put it in because it felt like it was ASMR and it was your own voice. Oh,
It was
that's so
ASMR
sad.
in myself, and I was like, this is horrible.
Oh, Liam, I'm sorry. I know how much you hate it. Wow.
And I just didn't want to maybe creep out the people that were listening to this podcast. But if someone get in touch, people don't. But if someone wants to get in touch,
What do you mean people don't?
people don't get in touch with us.
Oh, I've had hundreds of emails and letters. I've had to change. That's why I moved up north. To
Oh, is that
escape
why?
it.
So I'm
Yeah.
still in danger by being down here. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
my house was swamped. My house was like that scene in the first Harry Potter where it's like no post on Sundays and then all the letters just fall from the ceiling. That was my house every day.
I mean, could have maybe brought it up.
He's a writer. You know.
Fucking hell, mate. You need to.
What?
He's a
You
writer.
need to have a ri-
He's a
Let me look
writer
in
in
the
this
mirror.
film for a movie. He's a writer for movies. We know he's done that in the past. as a writer for books and magazines, and he's been an actor. There's nothing interesting to say about it. Last week he was in London. Now he's in Paris.
You proud of yourself, mate?
Do you know
I don't
what?
even think that deserves the ASMR.
Yeah, maybe that's why
Bloomiverse
Seb
jingle.
doesn't deserve me.
It's not about whether I'm proud of it. It's about whether I'm being honest or not.
And the honesty to me sounds like I've given up.
Nah, I just assume there's more interest. Like next week, he's a serial killer. There's lots to work with there, you know.
I gave you that good leather trousers thing as well. Nothing.
Yeah, well, that to me lines more up with him being a serial killer. So maybe we'll come back to that.
I think that's some deep-seated issues that you have with leather trousers, but maybe we'll get back to that at another point.
I mean, if you wear them when you work out, there's something incorrect happening.
Yeah, he's an alien, maybe.
Well, yeah. Well, why didn't you bring it up when we were watching Earth Girls Are Easy?
Oh
I
yeah, he
didn't
was
know it
literally
then.
an alien in that film.
Yeah.
Did that even get a Bloomiverse mention?
Yeah.
Maybe that makes
damn it.
sense for the Earth Girls Are Easy to be the first ever film, or the first ever.
Oh, you think that's his true form? Is
Yeah.
blue hairy fuck machine? Is
I mean, I'm not the professional, so I don't really know.
Well, apparently none of us are.
Look,
Seb certainly isn't.
it's been a tough year, and we've had to make some budget cuts.
Oh, you're not getting your Bloomiverse allowance anymore, Seb?
No more.
I think he's had to just lay off some of his researchers, mate. So he's doing it all himself.
Yeah, it's all me. I used to have a team of interns.
The skeleton core team that's running the Bloomiverse investigation is real starved at the moment. It's a long
You
hard
know,
year.
If Seb turns the camera around, there's just 3 hamsters powering in like a 1994 laptop. Is how he does all his research.
Free hamsters just shitting all over an old PC.
Yeah, that's like he's just feeling through the shit to be like, where are the visions?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's a form of it's like reading tea leaves, but just it's a bit more advanced.
Reading hamster shit on an outdated laptop.
Yeah, 21st century, you know. Cyberpunk.
I don't want to spend any more time with this movie than I have to. Any thoughts?
No.
I don't like the fact that this film was the way that it was, and I don't know how to come to terms with that in a way that is constructive to the conversation, other than it seriously skeeved me out for the whole period.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, we didn't even really talk about the fact that at the end of the film, towards the end of the film, he goes on like a weird date with someone who helped him in the hospital to a body bank.
Well, this is what my question was about at the beginning. Why? Who killed the person, and why were they in a vat of unclaimed bodies?
Well, we know why she died.
I don't.
Yeah, heroin overdose.
What?
Heroin overdose.
When?
When she was in the bathroom of the producer, and he dumped her in a ditch.
Man, fuck this film.
And he dumped her in a ditch, and then said, by the time I came back, the body was gone. And then Jeff somehow finds his way into...
So there's body snatchers that are making some, like, macabre sea world where there's just, like, big open tanks with just dead bodies floating about.
And, I mean, those
And a dude with
places...
a hook.
Those places
Good use of
kind
the
of
word
do
macabre.
exist, actually. But no, they're definitely not open like that. Like, those tanks are not open air. It is not like an open air corpse pool, which is actually my new death metal band name.
Well, so this film's kind of bummed me out. Hopefully next week's will be better, or whenever it is. Also, it was Jeff's birthday a few days ago, so happy birthday, Jeff.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
He's like 78, I think.
Excuse me?
He's 68, sorry.
Yeah, you... I mean, still.
October 22nd, so 2 days ago from recording this podcast.
He looks incredible for 68.
Wait,
Yeah,
how old
dude,
is he?
68 years old.
Wow.
He's absolutely killing it, which is why he's not a real man, because he's aging like a god.
Yeah, he's aging better than anyone else I think I've ever seen, actually.
It's insane. Do you think maybe it's since we started doing this podcast, the energy and juice that we are actively losing and getting leached out of us from this early career is going straight to him and imbuing him with a longer, healthier life?
Do you know what
I think so.
This is
I
a
feel like I've
portrait of
aged.
Dorian Gray situation, except the portrait that's getting uglier is us and our fun free time.
Us and our will to live.
Yeah.
The dude that wrote this movie is doing another is in pre-production in another movie with Jeff right now.
Oh.
Great.
Yep.
Is it?
A fleeting time of creative freedom in Latin American history in the 1960s and 70s, before parts of the continent were engulfed by oppressive regimes. It's called They Shot the Piano Player.
Well, let's hope there's no
Children in the
underage
film.
nudity. On that
Yeah,
note,
mate, how was this film allowed? That's my last thought on this. Why was it allowed?
mate, anything's allowed in the right time. If you go to a particular
In the
year,
80s.
yeah, it's allowed.
Yeah, I'm so glad to see the 80s. Let's see the back of it.
If
Can
you
I-
have a
The
bad
90s.
to average idea in the 80s, you'll likely get it funded. If you have a good to excellent idea in the 2000 and somethings, you will not get it funded.
Yeah.
Can I
That's
can
what
I
we've
just
learned.
put a maybe a slight downer on next week's film?
Oh, already.
I know. Well, it came out in 1990, but it was made in 1989.
Counts.
Does it?
Counts for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Films get made in the edit, so it was probably shot in 1989 and wasn't finished.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
in the edit.
reasonable. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Jeff was in Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that at some point. I remember that.
When's Jurassic
not, 'cause it's a
Park?
TV
I feel like we're
series.
still years away from Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park was 93, so we are 3
Oh, okay.
years away from Jurassic Park. We need to start planning on what we're going to do for the
Jeez.
titular episode.
Yes. Exciting stuff.
I'm also really
Something
looking forward
massive.
to a movie in 1991, which is 2 movies away, where he plays pianist, and the movie is called The Favour, the Watch, and the Very Big Fish. So we have that to look forward to.
Wow.
Yeah, look, I feel like we're entering a new era, you know?
Well,
Yeah, it's exciting times.
literally we are.
Yeah.
I think we should all dress up as in like grunge attire.
Yeah, that'd be really fun for the listeners, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they're great listening.
Just hearing the chains and the many bracelets on the wrist. Yeah. You can hear my leather cuffs rubbing together.
Oh. That's a bad
The
sentence.
clanking of our chains
Yeah.
will be a great addition
What
to the episode.
Awful audio that will be. Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, me neither, actually.
Not the wider scope, but this specific episode. I don't want to be in the space of this movie anymore.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
we're-
deserve any more of our time, I don't think.
No,
No.
we never have to think about that film ever again.
Actually, you know what? I'm just going to delete this whole episode and then upload an episode that just goes, yeah, bad, and that'll be it. Don't do it. Bad. Pedophiles.
Don't do
End of
this one.
episode.
Maybe skip this one.
Yeah, don't do this one. Cheers.
Yeah, cool.
So that's it. Next episode, Mr. Frost. And what do we do
Exciting.
here? What's the end thing we do? Oh yeah, we get and share the show,
subscribe
please.
to our,
Review it on
give us
iTunes.
give us a follow on Instagram. Engage
Share-
with some of our content.
Email
and,
us. Give us hope.
Follow our letterbox playlist. Keep up to date with watching each film as we do. Suffer with us, please.
I mean,
Is the tagline
We're-
for this show "Suffer with us"? It's like
I
so.
quite
It's
like that. But
so
it's
it's-
also like such a par on Jeff's career.
yeah, I guess.
Get in touch with the Instagram, or which is Forever in Bloom, or foreverinbloom@gmail.com, and send us your Jeff theories. Who fucking knows? We'll do the names again. I've been Liam,
I'm Seb.
I'm Beth.
and we don't have a sign off.
Bye.
Bye.